Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you, whichever part of the world you're joining us from. I'm Vignesh. I'll be your host for today. Thank you once again for joining the Testsigma Product Updates webinar. Over the next half an hour, we'll be taking you through some of the latest features which are launched in Testsigma, and we will also be discussing on how we can leverage those features to optimize your automation testing game. With us, we have today Divesh, who is a part of the product management team of Testsigma. And we also have Vikram, who is a test architect at Testsigma. Before we start, if you do have any queries, please do feel free to use the Q&A option on your Zoom screen to let us know. We'll try to answer your questions towards the end of the webinar. On that note, without much further ado, I'd like to invite Divesh to take us through all the latest happenings on Testsigma. Divesh comes with a wealth of product management experience, and he leads the product initiatives here at Testsigma. Divesh, over to you.
Thanks, Vignesh. Hey, hi everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. If you can't, just let me know. Okay, so we'll dive straight into it. But first, for folks who don't know what Testsigma does, right? Testsigma is an AI-augmented low-code test automation platform, which is built specifically for quality engineering teams that are looking to automate your tests with speed, scale, and relative ease without having the entire knowledge around programming and coding. So that is what Testsigma aims to be. And we want to be your operating system for quality. Now, what do we mean by that? You can automate tests on web, Android, iOS, API, desktop, and even database tests on Testsigma using simple English statements without any programming knowledge. You can create apps, you can create tests and run them locally or on the cloud platform that Testsigma provides. So you don't need real devices with you at all times. You can extend the platform for capabilities that you want. Testsigma allows each user to extend the platform for their own use cases as they want. And your test maintenance is on autopilot with AI augmentation, right? So it's very easy to maintain your tests. So let's move into the latest updates that we made on Testsigma for all of you. The first one is custom PDF reports. Every organization wants PDF reports, wants exhaustive PDF reports. So we'll show you how Testsigma has built that. Flexible test plans, that's what every quality engineering team wants, right? They want their test plan to be under their control. And we show you how Testsigma allows you to do that. And we'll show you how you can leverage add-ons and generators using Testsigma and a few examples that we've built to kind of push to show you how concatenations and calculations and OCR can be done via Testsigma. All right. So the first one, custom PDF reports. Just 1 second. Okay. So all quality engineering teams want a complete report, which includes granular details of the tests that have been done. Whereas your management wants a summary of the build status. They're not interested in the granular details, but they want a summary. Everybody wants a report that can be generated and stored for logging and auditing purposes. So a year later, if you want to know all of the tests that you ran, what was the result for each and every line in the test, what are the assets that were stored for the test, you want that report to be there for the next 4 years, 5 years for logging and auditing purposes. This PDF reports allows you to do that. And enterprises, most importantly, need reports which have their logos and the copyright disclaimer on it. So Testsigma custom PDF reports allow you to do all of this. So we'll dive into a demo. So this is the Testsigma platform. Under settings, when you go to customize reports, you can see here that we allow both PDF and XLS reports to be customized. I've preloaded the Testsigma logo onto the platform. So all of your reports will now have, let's say, for example, for me, the Testsigma logo, for you, your company's or your team's logo, whichever you want, and your company's name. Once you add here, every page or every page of the report will have the copyright statement, which says that copyright company name, all rights reserved. So this saves you from all of your all of the necessary guidelines that you need to follow for your enterprise reporting needs. Now, how do you generate the report? And this is valid both for PDF and XLS, right? So even your XLS reports will have both of these, your logo and the copyright statement. There is an option to not add the copyright statement if you want. That's completely flexible. So how do you generate the PDF report? You can just go here. This is a sample failed plan that I have ready. You can just go to the test plan. You can go to the plan that you've run. For example, here I've run a few tests, and you can just say export as PDF. and it will send you the PDF report as in your email as an attachment. So I have an example PDF report ready. So this is how it looks. You have first the summary, which gives you a summary of your test case. So let's say for the one that I had done earlier, I had all my test cases were passed. It tells me which plan was run, who triggered it, which environment. So for me, I'm using demo data for this demo purpose. For you, it may be your QA, pre-prod, staging, whichever environments you want. What is the start time? What is the end time? How long it took? What's the final result? And if you gave it some build number. So for me, I gave it a build name called webinar run. You can give it release 3.5.2 or release 4.10, whatever is the release cadence that you're following, right? So this is the summary report. Post that, you have every test case that you ran for this test plan here. Given for this one, nothing failed, everything is passed. You have the suits that this test case was part of. You have the complete description about the machine that was used. So for me, I ran it on Windows 11 and the latest version on Chrome, whether it was a real device or virtual device, how long it took, and who ran it. And for every line, you will always have an execution URL, which can take you directly to this execution in Testsigma if you want further deeper details. Okay. So for this test case, let's say I want to know what are all the steps. So I just click on that test case. It takes me to all the steps that were in the test case. It tells me what each step was. I went to a URL. I entered admin in the username. I added a password in the username. I clicked on the login button. Very simple. It tells me all of the test data, how long it took to do every step. And again, the URL is available for you for deeper details. Let's say I'm just interested in knowing, okay, what did the UI look like? You can just make one click and every step will have a screenshot available. So this is what helps you do all of your logging and auditing. You have summary, test case, test step, and even the screenshots, everything in one report at your fingertips whenever you want. So this is the PDF report that we've built. And obviously these PDF reports are exhaustive. Even if you have hundreds of tests, 200 tests, 300 tests, the report will cover each and every detail as you want, right, in these reports. That was custom PDF reports. If there's any feedback, any questions, please do ping them. We'll get to those after the demo. The next one is one of the most demanded things from all QA teams, right? Flexible test plans. Now, in a quality team's life, you know, whenever you're testing a build, there are certain functionalities that have known bugs. Even if you test them, they are bound to fail, right? So there's no point running those automated test cases. Even if you run those test cases, you're just going to lose time by executing those test cases when you already know the result is a fail, right? And if you run a build with those failed test cases, you know your build report is going to be polluted with failed results. So you don't want to execute those test cases in the first place. So Testsigma allows you to do that. So in Testsigma, for any test plan, for example, this is the same test plan that we were seeing earlier. You can just go inside a test plan. And for example, for me right now, I know in my smoke test suite, there is a problem with, let's say, sign up and forgot password, right? So I don't want to run these two for now. So you can just say, just turn those test cases off, say done, say next, say update. And now you just say run now. So you'll run the test plan. Just click on the reports. I have a pre-created report ready, but sure, all the other 4 tests are running. And the 2 that I knew as a team that we knew these have bugs and we don't want to run these for now, these are showing not executed and user disabled. So these will not be failed. These will not hamper your CI/CD build statuses. You can do all of this through APIs also. And your test build result will actually be a real result of the test cases that you actually want to run and not be polluted from failed results that you know are bound to fail earlier, right? Now what else? Now you have this situation, right? You've not run a few test cases. Sometimes you know that, okay, now that these bugs are fixed, I just want to rerun only a few test cases, right? I don't want to rerun my entire plan. So for example, this one had passed here and these had failed. I just want to rerun a few of these failed ones. The others, the bugs have not been fixed, but for sign up and forgot password, my team has fixed the bug. So what do? You just go to rerun in Testsigma. You say select test cases for rerun and you say, hey, I just want to run sign up and forgot password, right? Even if you have data-driven test cases, you can select exactly which iteration of the data sets out of the hundreds that you want to run, right? So you can do that. And we just say start, and now it will just do the rerun for these 2 tests and it will leave the other as is. So now your build status will be updated. If these 2 pass, your build status will reflect automatically that these 2 test cases have passed. So you don't have to run the test plan again, wait for results, run it through pipelines. It's as simple as come, select, and run. Okay. So covering both creation time, triggering time, and post triggering when those issues are fixed. You can come back and rerun only those test cases for the fixed issue, isolate and run those test cases. Add-ons and generators. Now, Testsigma allows everyone to create add-ons within the Testsigma platform. You can create add-ons, you can extend Testsigma capabilities as per your need for your use cases, which are very unique, right? So Testsigma completely allows you to do that. What we have done is we have created two generators or generators for now, which allow you to do concatenation and calculation. So concatenation, string concatenation is a very common scenario, but in testing, it shows up when you want to access, let's say, dynamic URLs, right? These are URLs that are different for every org ID, every user ID. Maybe the subdomain is changing. For me, it's testsigma.google.com. For somebody else, it's freshworks.google.com, right? But you want your test case to be dynamic enough to take these, concatenate and run it all in one go. You don't want to keep creating multiple test cases. So how does Testsigma solve this? So let's say, let me go to that step. Okay. So what Testsigma does is we have a base URL, which is constant, right? So let's say for me, I'm using an open source demo website, which is called opensource.demoorangellive.com, right? So this URL stays constant. What I am trying to do is I have a bunch of pages in this app that I want to go to open and just ensure that they're running as a part of my smoke cycle, right? That these pages are loading. So what do? I have my base URL ready and I have a bunch of dynamic URLs, right? So all of these URLs are different and these represent different pages inside my application. So I want to verify if all of these pages are loading correctly or not. Tomorrow I can add 10 more pages here, 20 more pages here, 20 more URLs, dynamic pieces here. As my app grows, you never actually have to go back and change your test case. How? So you go to the base URL, you're entering password. And now here, every time that you go, you can directly see what's happening. If you click, we are concatenating the base URL with the dynamic part from the test data, right? So we're using environment, the base URL that we had seen earlier, and dynamic part. And this piece runs each time for each row in your test data, right? So it's one test case almost every time. So if you have 200 lines here, it's almost like you're running 200 iterations of the test case without having to make any changes. So here I've run it for admin, PIM, leave, time, all of these pages that I wanted to check whether they're running or not correctly, whether these pages are loading or not. So all of that is always available and very easy to do with Testsigma. The second generator that we have built is again a very common use case where you need to perform a lot of calculations, which are multi-step, but you want to do it in one go. Examples would be like you have dynamic carts, right? You have discount codes, multiple discount codes that you try to add to cart. You have different types of taxes that are applied based on your location or pin code, delivery fees based on whether you're a pro customer or a free customer. So you need to encapsulate and use all of these values, all of these use cases, figure out what should be the actual value and verify it on the UI as well, right? If you followed all of these rules, the UI value should be 21 versus the calculated value should also be $21. So how do you do that in Testsigma? Taking a simpler example than this one, what we've done is, let's say you have the same example, you have a test data set. What I'm trying to do is I have a SKU or any product and I have a retail and a wholesale price for it. So for retail, I sell it for 2,000 and in wholesale, because I'm selling in bulk, I sell it for 1,500. Now what my system does is for these prices, it calculates what is the profit percentage, right? So what we're doing here is in a single one step, the cost price is constant. So what you do, you can add an entire math expression here, just like you would do in a calculator or on Google Chrome, right? In the Chrome calculator, you can just say selling price minus cost price divided by cost price into 100. And it will perform that calculation for both of your retail and wholesale and give you the output. So for my retail, because I was selling it for 2,000 and in my environment, I kept the cost price as 1,000, that's constant. So it does that calculation and gives you an output as 100 for wholesale, because I was selling it at 1,500 and my cost price is still the same, right? It doesn't change. So same calculation, it gives you an output of 50.0. So it tells you that your profit percentage is 50 for your wholesale sales that you're doing from your website. You can add as many fields as you want, perform the most complex calculations. There are no limits to the level of calculation that you can do using both of the math calculator. And even in the concat, you could add 10, 20, 30 fields. This is your use case of dynamic URLs or creating a dynamic string. You could add as many fields as you want, or test data as we call it inside Testsigma, and it will perform seamlessly for you. There are any questions, please do ping them in Q&A. I'd be happy to address them. For the next one, I'll give it back to Vignesh. Vikram from our team will probably be doing the demo.
Thank you, Divesh. For the last feature of this particular webinar, I'd like to invite Vikram to talk about it. Vikram is a seasoned QA professional with 9 years of experience in both automation and manual testing. And he has been with Testsigma as a test architect. So before I hand it over to Vikram, just a quick reminder, folks, if you have any queries on anything related to Testsigma or any of the features that we are discussing today, or anything related to automation testing in general, please feel free to use the Q&A button on your screen to share it with us. We'll be happy to answer your questions after Vikram's presentation. Over to you, Vikram.
Thank you, Vignesh. Hi, everyone. This is Vikram here, and I'll be talking about OCR add-ons. So I'll just quickly share my screen. Yeah, I hope you are able to see my screen. So what is OCR? OCR is an optical character recognition algorithm using which you will be able to extract text from an image. So in Testsigma, what we have done is we have implemented this OCR feature as an add-on, and using that, you will be able to extract text from an image or a web element and also from a web page. Now let's look at a scenario where we can use this OCR feature. So this is a sample application. And let's say if I want to automate this application, I basically have to inspect and get the locators, right? Now, let's say if I want to get the locators for this button, sign in with Google, and if I inspect and it is showing me the entire page, right? So, and this is the locator which is being highlighted, FLT glass pane. And again, if I try to go inside this application, and again, if let's say if I want to click on the entries button or the settings button, again, if I try to inspect, it is highlighting me the whole page, and we cannot get the locators for each element. So in cases like this, we can use OCR, which will extract the text from this web page or also from this web element called FLT glass pane. So what OCR does is it will extract the text along with its coordinates. So coordinates are nothing but the X and Y axis. And using that, we'll be able to perform click actions, and we'll be able to perform enter actions as well. So I have written a sample test case in Testsigma using this add-on, and I'll just quickly show that. So as you can see, this is the sample add-on that I have written, which is click on the canvas element glass pane containing the text sign in. So the flow that I have automated here is, sorry. So as soon as I land on this page, I'll be clicking on sign in with Google button. And once that is done, I'll click on the entries tab, and post that I'll click on sign out, and then I'll click on the S button from the pop-up. So all these elements are behind FT glass pane, which is rendered as a canvas element. So we will not be able to get the locators of such elements. And with OCR, we will be able to extract text and perform actions on it. So now I'm going to run the test case. Yeah, it has started running. And as you can see here, so it has clicked on the sign in with Google button, and it has landed inside the page. And post that, it has clicked on the entries button. So as you can notice, it has clicked on the entries button. And after that, it has clicked on sign out. And post that, it has clicked on the S button, and it lands back to the sign in with Google page. So this way, you will be able to use OCR in Testsigma to interact with these kinds of applications. And the reason why we have given this as an add-on is you can write your own custom logic based upon your applications, and you can use it inside Testsigma. So that is all from my side. Thank you, Vignesh.
Thank you, Vikram. So with that, we come to the last part of today's session, which is the Q&A session. We have got a couple of really wonderful questions from our audience. And once again, folks, just to remind you, if you have any questions related to anything on automation testing or Testsigma, or even any of these features, feel free to use the chat panel to raise it. And we'll, for the greater benefit of the audience, we'll be taking these questions out. I'll be reading out these questions, and our panel of experts will be helping me answer it. So the first question is, while exporting reports to PDF, can we know the count of test cases executed in the customer PDF?
Correct, that's valid. I saw that question. I think we're showing the percentage and we've not added the count. So that is valid feedback. We'll definitely add the count in the pie chart along with the percentage so that you can get a count straight ahead. But the count is there in the lower level where you have like the list of test cases. So you have row by row a list of test cases. So you can get a count from that, but definitely it should be in the pie chart. So that's valid feedback. We'll add it. Thank you for raising that. It's a small tweak. We'll just add it along with the percentage. You will get a count as well. We'll make it very soon.
The next question is also related to the PDF export. Is it available in the free edition, Divesh?
It's not available in the free edition because it's an enterprise feature. It's available for the higher version, which is the enterprise version. But definitely, if you have a need, if you want to try it out, a trial version has this feature available for you to use when you sign up with Testsigma, right? So you can use it while you're on trial, and post that it's a conversation that can be had based on your need. It's not a problem.
Awesome. Vikram, the next question is on OCR extraction. So will OCR extraction work across all platforms? I mean, web, desktop, mobile?
Yes, Vignesh, I think it should work on all the platform because OCR has nothing to do with the platforms in general. So it is just an algorithm which can be used to extract text from any given entity. It can be an image or anything. So yeah, it kind of works across all the platforms.
And Divesh, the next question is regarding the rerun of test plans. Can we rerun test plans using the APIs as well?
Yes, you can do it. We have it in our API docs available. So you can do it through the APIs also.
Awesome.
Yes.
So with that, we come to the end of this wonderful discussion. We had great fun walking you through all the latest features on Testsigma. And we also hope that you found this webinar valuable. In case you have any further queries, or if you would like a personalized demo to understand how Testsigma can be used in your own organization to automate your test cases and save a lot of time and eventually ROI, please feel free to let us know. And if you have any questions post the webinar, you can also write to us at support@testsigma.com. We'll be happy to help you out. And by tomorrow, we'll try to share the webinar recording. We will be uploading this on YouTube as well. So we'll share the recording along with the presentation that we used in today's webinar. If any of your colleagues missed it and you feel that they should also be listening to it, feel free to share it with them. Once again, thank you all for joining us today. Have a great day. We'll see you in another webinar. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.